Yes. Good evening. It's the Armoury TV, and is it finally time to be excited? Yes. Evening, people. Evening. Hope everyone's well. It's Monday evening. Armoury TV. It's back. We're back now. We're back. It's gonna be an onslaught from now to the start of the season. I've got some of my good friends with me. I've missed some of you. Some of you less than others. Candace, what you saying, bro? How you keeping? Mr.
I thought you
Candace,
said,
you
did
good?
you? Oh, sorry. I thought you said Gunner, as in Gunner King.
No. Candace.
I didn't hit. I was. I'm good,
You
man.
heard
I'm
me say
good.
less
I'm
than
good.
others. You thought, yeah, talking about me.
I was like, what? Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm blessed, bro. It's good. It's good to have the man's back, boy. It's been a hot minute, man. So it's good to see your faces again, man. So
Definitely.
boy, this is now gonna be madness now from the Armoury. So yeah, this is just a start.
Definitely. Mr. King, how you keeping, bro?
Nice. So after the opening gambit, that you came in with the show with, it's time.
Yeah, it's looking like.
Be excited. Yeah.
I'm going to come to you. I'm going to come to you a bit later about something because you've been one that's been very vocal with some of your opinions on some of the board members. So we'll come to you a bit later and you can sum that up. But before we get to you, Football Messiah, aka Steph, aka
I'm here.
AKA Darth Vader, or Dark Vader.
Man.
Yeah,
boy. Don't worry, man. I'm gonna go and get a lamp in a minute. Don't worry.
Man's out here looking like Venom, boy.
You know what I
mean? How you keeping there, bro? You good?
Yeah, bro.
Good to hear. So today's show is gonna be a bit about transfers. You know we can't get away from it. But you know me, I'm a defensive kind of player, so I want today's show to be a bit more about the defensive side of things. I don't have the tweets to hand, unfortunately. My Internet Explorer is kind of gone crashing down. But two, which will be, I think, a major important parts for me. We're going to talk about that. So the first one, we're going to talk about a player who is in our ranks already, William Saliba. I'm not too sure if you guys have seen the tweet that came out earlier from Fabrizio Romano. Did you all see it?
No.
All right, I'm gonna read it here.
Okay.
Hold on, I've got it here. So I was trying to get on the
stream. Monster bid. If only a monster bid came in. Like so other than that, we're not.
Obviously, there's been quite a lot of talk of Marseille sniffing around and other clubs, and is he happy?
Marseille ain't got no money for him, man.
Yeah. So Romano's come out and said William Saliba's situation. Rumors on a loan move are wide of the mark. Arsenal board and Arteta both count on Saliba as part of the team for next season. Being told situation could only change in a case of a crazy bid. Arsenal trust him and keen on discussing a new contract. So what's your thoughts on that, Canners, with Saliba? Do you feel, and what do you reckon the price tag would be for someone to lure him away from Arsenal now?
We're talking about young French young player of the year, French international. So you're looking upwards 40 mil. That would be like a starting bid. But listen, man, this guy's got a ceiling. What we're talking about, he's 20. Yeah, come on, man. He's a monster already. He's doing what he's doing in French football. I think Arteta and the guys and Eddie was smart, to put him out on loan to get him playing in France, and it's put him in good stead. You're talking about a couple of seasons ago, everyone was talking about Fofana and how good he was because it was those two, right? This year, man, I think, listen, it's going to be a great bit of competition between him, Gabriel, and White. Listen, I wouldn't be adverse to say Gabriel and Saliba being the, they might come through, them two being the back two pairing. But they're right. Unless a crazy bid comes in of north of 50, 60 million, then you can't even start talking to us about Saliba, because we're talking about the young French player of the year, and they have now a French fully fledged international. So,
I mean, in terms of what you're saying about French international, it's not like France have an aging team where you think he's the new guy coming through. They've got people like Koundé, Upamecano. They're all like 23, 24.
Right, Kimpembe is 26.
Because if you check it, because if we look, I know Wenger used it before, and he would say, when a player comes back from injury, and it's like a new signing and all that. But Saliba is really like a new signing for us. He's never played, and guys, how excited would we be if we just bought the young player of the year in France and a French international? How excited would we be if we had just spent 30, 40 million on that kind of player, that caliber of player? We'd be excited. Look, man, I'd say for us to get excited with Saliba, man.
Definitely.
I think you know what, man, we've got something good brewing in this club.
I think the most important thing is trying to tie him down to a long-term contract now. I think he's going to play smart and not going to commit to anything until he sees he's getting regular minutes. But I think that'd be
he made a few mistakes. He made a few mistakes a couple of years back, but he's young. You know what I mean? He's only now just turning 20. So
I'll be real, Gumsa. Yeah, we have made a lot of space on our wage bill. Now I'm going to put it to you like this: you say he might wait for minutes. I say he sees all the signings that we've made. He sees the level of investment, that he sees the ambition there. Look, if we're prepared to stick 100k on Nketiah's contract off the basis of a good run from after the international break, why wouldn't we stick 100k on this guy who had a good whole season?
I don't think issues are
whole season. Or the way I see it, we stick 100k on him, or we make money talk in this situation. Like, look, mate, we're not going to stand in the way if you want to leave after 2 years, but we want to protect our investment. Like, that's all we're asking. Now, in that 2 years' time, if you're not happy with the playing time and the minutes that you're getting, we'll sell you. But we would like to tie you down, at least extend it by another year, a year extension. So a 3-year contract. So we rip up this one, give him 3 years, exactly what we did with Xhaka. So we're in the same position at the end of next season, i.e. he's still got 2 years. So it's a halfway house. We could maybe offer him 4 or 5 years, a bit more of a death row contract. But I think if he's not prepared to do that, the least we could do, I think, with a bumper pay rise, is a year extension, Jobby. Because Xhaka got his pay rise out of that. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think that's a smart play. Try and get him on a death row contract. If he's not on it, then just try and stick a little year on it and just be like, look, at least then you've got your year. You're going to be in the same position this time next season, but it's just going to be an extra year. It's not like that's going to make you less marketable to people that are going to want to buy you. Do you get what I'm saying?
I understand that, but if you're, I'm gonna come to you, Steph. If you're Saliba, and the world is your oyster at this moment, going into, so just say he's going to see out this year of Arsenal. Arsenal are going to offer him a contract. As Gunner King says, money wouldn't be an option. 100k minimum they'd be looking to give him for maybe an extra 2 years or so. However, if you have got your eyes set on a bigger club, maybe if Arsenal don't get top 4 again next year, would you commit to signing that contract knowing it would be harder for teams to buy you the following year? Or would you try and ride out, see the season out? And then again, if just say Arsenal, it's not going to happen. Just say we don't make top 4. It's not going to happen. We know we're going to make it next year. But just say we didn't. And someone like Barcelona comes, and Barcelona aren't flush with cash. So 25, 30 million might get you out of Arsenal. Whereas if you sign that long-term contract, Arsenal are looking at 50, 60s. Would you play the Nketiah card and hold fire and try and see what you can get out of it? Or would you sign the thing, 120k?
By the way, to be clear, I was talking about offering him this contract before the season starts.
Yeah, no, I hear you,
talking about.
but we know football now, innit? Football's changed a lot. Players know their value and their worth, and they understand the least time they have on their contract, the easier it is to get a move, and actually the bigger move the more money you're gonna get when you move to another club. Because if you try and buy Saliba, who's got 5 years left, you're talking 50, 60 mil. If you
What
get
do you reckon's
Saliba,
on
His
his contract
stock
now,
is
though?
high right now.
But
Yeah,
what
his
do
stock
you
is
reckon's
high.
on his contract now? Realistically, he can't be on more than 20, 30 grand.
No, he's not on much money, but for him at this moment, for 1 year of 100,000
No, but
doesn't
that's
mean
a
much
lot
because
of money.
no, but you think but if he
That's a big
doesn't sign,
difference.
no, but if he doesn't sign and gets a big move, he might end up on 150 for 5 years at Barcelona, who are in Champions League every year. So what you're seeing these players do, they're not committing their life away early because actually the power's in my hands. The least years I have left on my contract. If I sign for 5 years, I'm tied in for 5 years.
It's
Whereas if I
100%
could,
asking the question. I think
yeah,
it's
no,
worth
if I'm Arsenal, I'm throwing down 120, 130 at him and hoping that he stick. But again, the ball's in his court, knowing he's got 2 years left. Is a big difference. Like if you're his agent, you're saying hold fire, because he's not
100%.
going
I
to come
mean,
away at the end of next
if
year
there's
not getting
if there's
100,000.
if there's a disparity of 100 grand from his current wage to this one, yeah, on the new contract, yeah. As I said, if it's a 1 year one, yeah, like, and he's in the same boat for the sake of 1 year, i.e., he's got
All
2
right,
years left on his
let me
contract at the
let
end
me
of
flip it
next
this
season.
way.
Wait, hang on, sorry, hang on. And for the sake of that year, he's dramatically ramped up his earning for that 1 year, and then still is in the same position that he's in now. It's 100% worth like just working our way down, seeing like 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years. All right.
No,
If
hey,
it's 1
let me
year,
ask you a question quickly. I hear what you're saying. Would you, as an Arsenal fan, would you recommend Tielemans do that now if Leicester offered him a new contract 1 year with extra money? Would you offer? Would you say take that?
but right now, Tielemans doesn't want to stay.
Yeah, it's not the point. It's the long term goal because 1 more year, Leicester's not going to kill him. He might have to see that year out. But the position he puts himself in next year, if he don't sign that 1 year extension,
Yeah, but the season that
he's in a lot better
Leicester
position.
had last year,
Yeah,
with
I'm not talking about the season.
European football.
Yeah, but I was saying as if we have to buy him next year and spend 30 minutes, just saying Tielemans signs a 1 year extension, we then come in for him next year. We have to pay 30 million for him plus his wages. If he doesn't sign that contract, he's on a free. So his 150,000 we might give him goes to 200,000 because we ain't got to pay a transfer fee. And that's where the power's with the player. The least years I have on my contract, the smaller my transfer fee is, or I have zero transfer fee, means that money comes in my wages. We've seen why we paid 100,000 for Kolasinac. If we had paid a transfer fee for Kolasinac, he was probably getting 70k, 60k. But because he's on a free, it's 100. So that's where the power's with the players. But Steph, I'm going to come to you because it was your question. If you're Saliba in that situation, do you wait and see what Arsenal do to see if they secure top four before committing your future to the club? Or do you ride out this season, see what your minutes are like, see if Arsenal are serious about playing you, and then make a decision next year when you've got 1 year left? Again, you could hold Arsenal to ransom.
Yeah.
You could get a move on a cheap, or you could see out another year and then get a free transfer and go to someone who's going to be after you. What would you do in that situation?
Personally, I said from the get go, if I was Saliba, I wasn't coming back to Arsenal.
Wow.
Like, yeah. From how things panned out from when he arrived to how things have gone, and obviously the whole Twitter talking this and that, and how he's now performed, and then they went out and spent 50 million on Ben White, I wasn't coming back. Like, you've shown your hand, you know what I mean? Like, cool. I'll prove my worth. That's what you've done at Marseille. Who wants me? Come get me. That's how I would have done it. But if he does come, but don't get me wrong, I want him to come back. But if I was Saliba, my ego would have kicked him big time. But no, I'd definitely say. Is it Canis?
I'm sure his ego did kick in big time.
Yeah.
And now his stock is so high. Arsenal got a huge, potential dilemma on their hands because he might do exactly what Gumsa says and ride it out.
And you know what, Canis? You know what? I actually don't think Arteta thought he was going to be, or he's going to be as good as he is in terms of his loan. I don't think they expected him to get the credentials that he got in terms of like playing the season, don't play the season, this and that. So it kind of like come back and haunt him a little bit. If I was Saliba, I probably would, but I would say stay. I would like him to stay for at least a season. Like you said, try and get minutes, because we need, at the same time, we need depth and we need quality depth. Like, we can't have Holt. I know Tony could have come on this, but we can't have Holding coming in for Ben White. It's too much. For me, it's too much of a drop. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know. I'm gonna see the comments in a minute.
He's coming for you, boy. You're saying Holding.
That's something we agree on as well for Messiah, and we butt heads a lot. But that's so if Tony is there, it's tough.
You talk bad about Holding. It's like saying Beetlejuice 3 times in the mirror.
But yeah, I think I just want the drop. I just don't want the drop to be too significant. And I know what I feel that with Saliba and Ben White, it would either increase or it'd be on par.
I think it'll be a good competition.
Yeah,
look, I'll be real. Yeah, this is why as well. This is why I said, look, if we sell Holding, I don't know what he's on, his wages as well. I think that shows him as well. Look, we're actually making space for you, and then that contract offer has that buffer of his whole wage packet. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, like I personally think we're building a young team. It's evident to him, and I think, yes, I get what Steph's saying. Like, if I was Saliba, my ego might have kicked in, maybe, but equally, you look at the amount of centre backs at 19 that are getting full time, that are getting 90 minutes, that are even getting minutes in the Premier League. Like in the Premier League, in most European leagues, but especially the Premier League, you can count them on one hand. I can't think of any.
Yeah,
again, I think there's a lot that can be said that that Arteta didn't fancy him, or that there was a argument there. But I think there's a lot that we don't know, like in terms of like the communication between the player and the club, manager and the club. I think a lot is made about there being a rift, like, Arteta's not playing him. It takes one journalist to spin a yarn, the rest of them are running with it. Next thing I really don't believe a lot that is reported about Saliba.
But you can't discredit the tweets that Saliba was actually putting out as well, though.
No.
I think the loan move, I don't think Saliba would be mad at the loan move. Again, what Arteta would be looking at is we're not in Europe. We've got one game a week. Ben White and Gabriel are my starters. If you stay here, your time is limited. If someone gets injured or suspended, you come in, but you're not going to be starting. So best thing for you is go and play a whole season. He probably played 40 games last year, whereas if you stayed, Holding probably got 10 full games and a couple of substitute appearances. So that's not enough for a 19-year-old.
He played in Europe as well, didn't he?
So he would have got double the amount of minutes as what he would have got if he stayed. So it was a right big move.
To European football as well.
Again, I think the thing is for him is he knows his worth, he knows his stock. So actually, it's the ball's in your court, Arsenal. If you don't play me enough, then regardless no matter what you throw at me, I know I can get. Again, his agent will be talking to teams right now as we speak. If you wait and you get to Liverpool will pay you 150. Over there, Juventus will pay you 200. Do you know what I mean? His agent would really know what. I'm just being too hypothetical. I don't know who's in front.
Right, but his agent, huh? It would. Yeah, no, I know. I get you. I get the
hypotheticals. His agent's job is now to go around and see what's on the table. Again, look at the talk with Balogun when Balogun was meant to be signed. And there was 13, 14, 15 clubs looking at Balogun. Balogun goes on loan and he goes to a club in the Championship. Do you know what I mean? His agent is going to be in there working a storm up to say these are the options we've got on the table. So I think for him, he's coming back. I think he's accepted he's going to be at Arsenal next year. I've got no doubt he's going to play. But again, it's a case of let me see what Arteta does. If Arteta doesn't give me the minutes I think I deserve, I back myself to go somewhere else and be someone else's number one. And I think that's the stance. That's my personal take on it. I would love for Saliba to sign a 2-3 year extension. Love that.
I definitely hope the club are asking the question though.
Yeah, they got you, and I think it's the same with Saka and Martinelli. I think they're going to put. Yeah. I think they're going to put bids on, put contracts on the table for all those young players. Because again, the assets. Even if Saliba doesn't take over from Ben White, him with 5 years on his contract, it's a lot more attractive than him with 1 year. the money we're talking, if we have to sell him, is going to be a lot higher. So again, I think Edu, the reason why we go for the younger players now is so we have assets, because for a long time we didn't have any assets, hence why so many players left on a free transfer. But regardless, it's going to be interesting. I feel Saliba, I said after what Fabrizio Romano said, I think he's an Arsenal player next year, unless, like you said, something crazy happens and a 40-50 million bid comes in. But that's the right-hand side. I think we're pretty sorted on the right-hand side of the fence going into this season. I think, we've got Ben White, we've got Saliba. Tomiyasu can obviously deputise in there if need be. But on the left-hand side, we've been linked with Lisandro Martinez. And again, another tweet from Romano came out earlier. Not Lautaro, sorry. I'm talking about.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Sorry, Lisandro.
I mean, we have been linked with him up front as well. But...
So Lisandro Martinez, the tweet came out. Arsenal submitted a new bid. This is a couple of hours ago, as reported by Mike. I don't know who this guy is. 40 million euros with add-ons included, but Ajax want 50 million euros. Man United have been in touch with his agent. Again, Ajax have no intention to sell both him and Timber. So it's either he's got the same agent as Timber, or United are inquiring about him. But it looks like Arsenal have put the official bid in and looking to move on that now. First of all, thoughts on the player and how he fits in. Do you think it's he can cover 3 positions, or do you think he comes to start? Go to you, Steph. What's your thoughts?
No, I think he comes in rotation to start with. A bit like how what's that guy's name? Is it Guimaraes at Newcastle? Yeah. When he just came in, get him to fill the league, whatever. And then if obviously depending on how we start and how the players perform, if they allow him to get minutes and he proves himself, then it's up to the player to lose the shirt, so to speak. Where he does play, I think he's more competition for what's that guy's name? Gabriel, more than Kieran Tierney for me, in my opinion. But he can cover the left back and he can cover the defensive midfield role. But I think he's more for the left centre. You know what I like about our defence as well is that if Arteta is doing this, I'm not sure if he is, but he's got the opportunity to play so many different formations with it, because he can go 3-5-2 and the players are comfortable and certified in themselves to play it. Do you get what I mean? So yeah, I do. I'm not sure if he comes in to start straight away, but I know Arteta. Well, I don't know, but I feel Arteta would give people the opportunity to keep the shirt, and if you lose it, then here it goes to someone else, and then they've got the opportunity to keep it until they lose it. That's what I hope it is, anyway.
I think that's healthy as well, because again, I like Gabriel. Don't get me wrong. There's a few games where I think he had a couple of mistakes in him, but again, he's going to start the next week, and I think competition is healthy. Like, he might have needed 2 weeks out of the limelight and someone else take over. We see it with Saka a lot, don't we? Saka's burnt out by the end of it. Like, whereas you see Martinelli and Smith Rowe looked a bit fresher at times when Smith Rowe had a little dip. Yeah. He can come out, Martinelli's in, and do you know what I mean? It's just seamless. So I do think Gabriel might need, and again, that challenge, isn't it? That little kick at the backside to say there's someone behind you who's ready to nibble and take your position if you do drop your standards. And I think competition's healthy. What's your thoughts on Martinez King? Have you seen much of the player?
Yeah,
I know you've seen him on Football Manager.
He's pretty good on that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I watched some Dutch football, and I obviously watched him in the Champions League. He gives me Gabriel Henze vibes. I think obviously he started his career out as a left back, but eventually played for United at centre back. Just like, he's very dogged. Like when the ball's on the ground, he just wants it. He's just at you. For me, an attacking player, a lot is said about his height, but he's got a good spring, because of that low center of gravity. So he's not bad in the air either. I just think that would be the one weakness I might highlight. Is that something that can translate to the Prem? But watching him, he just wants the ball. Like he's just in and around your ankles, nipping at them, trying to get the ball. Very timely in the tackle though, and I think what I like about this transfer is I like Gabriel, but I think sometimes in terms of his decision making of when to go in for the tackle, you remember the Palace game where me and you were sort of debating, was that a ball Gabriel had to commit to going for? Like his decision making seems better. And when he does go in for the tackle, he seems a bit more refined, a bit tidier. And I feel like beyond the competition talk between him and Gabriel, he improves Gabriel with this. Like at 24, like they're both the same age. I feel like he can impart that wisdom on him in training. So I feel like it makes him better as a player, and his ball progression, like the diags that he hits, sort of the balls over the midfield, into the striker to hit quick counter transitions are very, very, very telling when he gets them right, and I think that's something that I think our backline could use as well. And yeah, like he's very comfortable on the ball.
Yeah.
A lot said about him playing in midfield, but he's not played a great deal of games there. But yeah, I see him not just being cover. I see him competing for Gabriel.
Yeah.
And if he can bring the standard to the standard that he's playing at in the Dutch league, he might win that competition.
I hear that.
Might, like he's that good, of what I've seen of him.
Fingers crossed we get him. I think he's probably, for me right now, the most important transfer we could get in terms of what he can cover. And someone's saying a 3-4-3 here. Brenny's saying 3-4-3. Callers, do you think we might see a all centre back four? Because you could play Ben White right back, Saliba centre back, Gabriel centre back, with Martinez left back. So against City or Liverpool, you could end up with 4 centre backs playing across the back line. So do you think we'd ever see it?
I honestly, listen, you never know, never say never. But it's not. I'm not gonna come up with that debate again with King.
Listen, I will say this, yeah. I will say this, Canners, yeah. Like I know you're very adverse to back threes, yeah.
No. It's not that I'm adverse. I tell you what it is that I know Arteta wants to play with a flat back four.
Yeah. No, but I just want to point out something that's interesting, yeah. The 4th highest scoring team in Europe last season was Chelsea.
Yeah.
Back three system.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
122 goals in all competitions.
Did
Wow.
they? That's surprising.
The notion that a back three needs to be defensive needs to die. I'm telling you.
No, definitely not. I just don't think Chelsea was that high scoring last year, to be honest.
Yeah, no. I listen. I mean, if it works, let's do it. But I think most teams now, and including how, Arteta wants to play and how he's been schooled, and he wants to play with a flat back four. Listen, this guy is not bad. I've been ever since we've been. I'm not going to lie. I've not watched much of the Dutch league, but ever since we've been, rumored to be in for him, I've watched him and had a look about, on videos. Look, I know YouTube can make anyone look great, but this guy, maybe the only thing I would say, what's probably against him is that he may be a little bit too left-footed. However, he is comfortable on the ball. You're right, King. Bang on. His spring is tremendous. For I think he's 5'11", 5'10", 5'11". Cannavaro is the same kind of player, right? So, and if he's anything like him,
and Cannavaro is the same height.
Yeah. And his timing of the tackle is brilliant. From what I'm seeing, so I think it's something that we do need. I think his main position, or his number one position, will be the left side of the back two. Challenging Gabriel, but I think it also Arteta's probably looking at him to maybe fill in, to be that little bit more solid than Tavares was as an understudy to Tierney at left back, if and when needed. I think it's something that we need to do. The only issue is that He's coming from a different country, different league. Same thing with Vieira. And normally players like that, they take about 6 months to kind of totally acclimatize and get used to everything, you know, their surroundings, where they're living, you know, the digs, where everything basically. And that's one thing actually I don't think everybody's noticed, is that we're spending big money on players, but where the big money ones that we're in for, where do they ply their trade? In the Prem. Rafinha, Prem. Jesus, Prem. Tielemans, Prem. He wants players, do you know what I mean, that can hit that ground running. Don't need no acclimatization or nothing.
I think with him though,
that helps people like Martinez when they come in. You know, like when these players are coming in, when you've got that core that has, you know, Tielemans has got 120 Premier League appearances. He's only 20. He's 20. He's got 400 professional appearances. People forget he was 16 when he debuted for Anderlecht.
Yeah.
You know, so not only has he got the experience, but he's got the experience of the league. So when you're looking at people like Pepe and why it didn't work, I feel like at that time there was a low level of players that we had that had experience of the league that were actually in their prime. Before we bought Ben White, the last player that we bought that was under the age of 27 that had experience in the Premier League was Danny Welbeck. You know, like, so you're seeing that core increase.
That's where we went wrong.
And it helps when you're bringing players in from new leagues to integrate, because, you know, you've got more players to put an arm around that guy's shoulder when Tavares has a bad half time.
Yeah,
like,
Pepe still had a lot of players there.
Yeah.
No, but I think
like Pepe was like only one of the signings that came in that window. It weren't like we bought like 4 or 5 different players, and it was a whole transition. Like he still had the Xhaka, who the people say is a leader. He still had Aubameyang, Lacazette.
You still think with David Luiz and people like that were there?
Yeah, Luiz was still there. Yeah, man, he still had them all. So it wasn't. I wouldn't really use that as an excuse for Pepe. To be fair,
I do understand the transition,
excuse, but I definitely feel I'm not trying to excuse what we've seen from him. I'm more saying I feel like his transition and him settling would have definitely been improved with more players with Premier League experience that actually were in their prime. You know, like Luiz at that age wasn't in his prime. You know, like I think, Ober and Lacazette were, but were they in their prime?
That kind of, but again, they've been through it, done it, so they should be more helpful. They're senior and more experienced. So again, Tavares, who's going through that blip with someone like Gabriel, who's only new to the league, really. He's only had a full season with us, one full season. That probably hindered him less. If David Luiz next to Tavares, you might have seen a better Tavares, because Luiz would have helped him through, because he's had how many years experience playing at the top level. He's won Champions Leagues. So actually, with Pepe, I think he does not suit to the Prem, because he's got not world class, but players who have been there and done it, and he's still struggling. And again, it's just the Premiership's not made for Pepe.
I don't know. I struggle with that notion though, because under Armoury, he was fire.
So you think it's Arteta? You think it's Arteta?
I think it's just that style, like Arteta. There's just no. I think he needs freedom. He just wants to play in it.
Yeah,
like, take the responsibility of me. Just let me do what I do. That's
if you look at the contrast of the two systems, like Emery's wingers, like he likes them to remain higher up. He likes to divide the labour between the defensive responsibilities and the fullback and the winger. That allowed him to thrive. Unfortunately, that's not Arteta's modus operandi. You know, like he wants his. If you look at Rafinha's numbers, for example, like he's won nearly 140 odd duels, and you look at his heat map, he's up and down. This is why we're going in for Rafinha specifically. You know, like because like Saka and Martinelli, when they're not on the ball, you know, a lot is said about buying Rafinha for what he can do with the ball, but when he doesn't have the ball, this guy works. Like I find it strange when people, because he's Brazilian, they just think he's flicks and tricks. He's not.
To be fair, we're going to stop that there, Gunner. I don't want to cut you short, Gunner, but we're going to leave the attacking options till tomorrow's show with James. So jump on that. We're focused on we've covered the defenders, but tomorrow James is going to touch on them attacking links, and obviously Jesus being confirmed. Eddie got that new contract. The phone's ringing, boy. I got 2 phones, one for the Rose and one for the boy, the 2 phones. But we're gonna touch on the attackers tomorrow with James. But I'm gonna get to some comments and then we're gonna wrap up. But I've got one more question for King and the others, especially King, because he's been on to these guys for a hot minute. But Amondi's in the chat. He's saying big up the channel and press the like button. So guys, make sure you're liking and subscribing. Thomas Lanny, hope you're well. Just come on now. He loves the content. Saliba could always be 4th option, but he corrected it. He did say a 3rd option. If we get Lisandro, depth makes a good teams great, and I think we fully agree with you there. It's all about squad depth and rotation, and I feel looking back on it, we lost top 4 due to Partey and Tierney being injured. I think if we had them 2 fit or suitable cover for them 2, I think we would have made it. But again, that is what it is. I think we're learning from that, and you can see by the players we're linked with and what we're going to sign.
With Europa League as well. You remember that?
James is saying, anyone find it interesting how quiet it's been about the Martinez bid? As in, no one's come out and said it's been rejected. Orstein's been very quiet. So maybe they're mulling over it. Maybe they've gone back and said, actually, there's a couple of extra mil, and it might be on the board.
Listen, we've got 3 players that are coming. And that it is going to be Tielemans, Rafinha, and Martinez.
Oh, Canners is confident. He said,
wait. Tielemans, yeah.
Canners is never this confident.
Nah, never, ever.
Nah.
He was telling me not to be excited, and now he's
what I'm hoping Arteta does, though, is that I'm hoping he puts the young, like what Wenger used to do with the cup games. He just lets the under 23 squad go for the Carling Cup, and then when it gets a little bit, I'm hoping he does more of that.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Give a lot of more rotation, give people more minutes, comfortable on the ball. So when they do have to come in, they're not cold. Do you know what I mean? And stage fright and everything like that.
100% agree with this. 100%. Right. And I think as well, use the group games.
The group games early. That's where
entirely sack off the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup with the youngsters, using them. The chance of experience and focusing our first team squad and 11 and our first squad on just the Prem and Europa League, nothing else.
I think that's dangerous territory though, because again, you're going to need to give some of these players minutes. So again, if the back 4 are performing brilliantly, then you need to give Saliba minutes. So FA Cup, League Cup, Europa Cup, he's got to play. Martinez is the same. Whoever that Cedric, do you know what I mean? Not Cedric as much, but a lot of them players are going to need minutes because, again, you look at the Smith Rowe Martinelli. If Martinelli's firing, Smith Rowe and Fabio Vieira need minutes, so they're going to need to. It's going to be rotation. I would like to see Patino, but at the same time, you've got to give these guys.
I'd like Patino to go on loan to a Bournemouth or something like that.
I wouldn't mind him staying till Christmas and then going. So get them early rounds in. If there's games where you don't need to play Onene, he could potentially play, and then do your loan after Christmas when you know it's business end. Actually, Europa Cup now you're not going to see minutes because if we have got a game and we are rotating Elneny, you'll get in the spot. So for me it'd be that. But just quickly, a few people are saying 3-4-3. Thomas Lanny, he's saying Ramsdale, Martinez, Gabriel White, Tomiyasu, Partey, Tielemans, Tierney, Rafinha, Jesus, and Saka. That's not a bad 11 at all, there is it? With then Leno, Saliba, Xhaka, Onene, Martinelli, ESR.
Wait, I don't get what's it. Wait, let me look at this. It's confusing to me.
Please don't need to be defensive, my guys. They don't need to be.
It'd be a Martinez, Gabriel White back 3.
Yeah.
Tomiyasu on the right, Partey, Tielemans in the middle, and Tierney on the left as wing backs. Then Rafinha, Jesus, and Saka as the front 3. And then the bench looks the bench looks healthy. Leno, Saliba, Xhaka, Elneny.
I think Leno's gone.
ESR.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, and then Nketiah as well. That's not a bad bench either. Do you know what I mean? That looks healthy. Jason said we are building a squad. Tell me Liverpool and City have a solid first 11, and like other teams, we are starting with 40 million players. After the squad is built, we can increase quality. And he's got a very good point. The squad's looking a lot healthier. And Jay's right saying Patino, Flores, and BNC will have a breakout season. Trust stuff. 100% agree with you. He wants to see some youth in some of them competitions. I think we all do. We love watching our youth players. But we've got a couple more minutes before we wrap up.
By the way, coffee looks.
Yeah. But a couple minutes before we wrap up, I'm gonna come to Canners, then Steph, then King. I'm gonna let you go last because you've been on to these guys, man, for a long time. So for years, the board has come under a lot of stick. If they pull off this window, and again, it's got a lot to do with Edu and Arteta, but the board have, if we get these targets in, it's over 200 million. I think the board have given Arteta to spend before we've sold anybody. Canners, are you starting to believe in what these guys are wanting to do at Arsenal?
Who, the board or Edu and Arteta?
No, leave Edu and Arteta out of it. This is the board. Someone's had to give these two money. Yes, they've made savings by getting rid of some big contracts. Like I said, I spoke on Saturday. Edu's work has been very good, but they still had to go to the boardroom, and someone still had to sign these checks to say you can go and bring these players in. So if we get the targets we're linked with, what's your thoughts on the board? And I'm not saying we've forgiven them for everything they've done.
No. You can't forget. Listen, this
because I think if they pull this off, I think this has been the best window I've ever seen.
I'll tell you now. Rafinha's pretty much done. So seriously. Anyway, I'll leave that one there. I'll leave that one there. But what I will say is that look, they're going a long way to repair what they've done. I feel. Yeah. Listen. I don't think you realize what Edu's about. All right, because
that guy.
He's got strong links with Brazil. Don't forget he's got links with the national team because he was their technical director for a few years now, and he obviously knows the Brazilian market. He's very. If you look at it now, we should really have not got Jesus.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I didn't ask no questions about Edu. I'm talking about Cronkies.
Okay.
All
right, let me rewind then. Let me rewind. Listen, they got a lot of work to do still. They're going about it the right way. They're going in the right direction. They've got a lot of. Listen, if they carry on backing the manager and the manager keeps doing what he's doing, listen, Rome wasn't built in a day. They're going about it the right way. I'm going to stay diplomatic on that, right, with the Cronkies. But they did a lot of shit, really, especially this time last year with the whole European Super League, all that kind of stuff. That wasn't good. But listen, we can't turn a blind eye. They are putting their hands in their pockets. And at the moment, they seem to have the Midas touch, man, because if you look at all the sports in the US, man, the successful teams at the moment seem to be owned by KSE.
So okay, so you're not.
Listen,
you haven't forgiven, but
I'm not one, until I'm happier, but I'm not 100%. I'm about 40% right now. They still got a long way to go with me.
That's fair enough. It's one, as you said, it's only one window. I hope they build on it. If we are a bit more successful next year, it's not then stopping and saying, right, we've made top four. It's about let's go again, isn't it? How about yourself, Steph? What's your thoughts on the board, the Cronkies in particular?
Personally, I've not had no issues with them. I'm more. I think people talk even in the Wenger days. I think Wenger was a bit cautious with spending big P. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think it was the Cronkies not giving Wenger money because, again, if you look at the Pepe deal, we spent quite big money on Lacazette. We spent big money on Aubameyang, Ozil, Sanchez. We've done big contracts for David Luiz. What's the guy's name? What's that dude's name?
Willian.
Pepe, and then got the Pepe deal that just come in with 72 mil. So I don't think they've been skimping on the money. I think it's more just who was in charge at the time. I think Wenger was very much a cautious person with splashing out. He's very much I want to find the gem. Let me find a player for 4 mil or 400,000 and try and make it to a Ballon d'Or winner and things like that. So yeah, I've never had a problem with the Kroenke, so to speak. So when people say about the Kroenke, if you look over the Kroenke's time at Arsenal, they've not spent. Do you know what I mean? Not like they've been one of the lowest spenders in the Premier League. We haven't. We've been in the top, like probably top 6, top 8, which is for where we've been finishing. I'd say that's pretty adequate.
Yeah, do you know? For one thing, I will say of you, I feel their job isn't to identify players and sign players. Their job is to give the board the money to go and sign. So
yeah,
I always go back. We signed Xhaka for more money in the same window than Kante went for. And actually,
what I will say though is their job. Their job is to put the right people in the right
place
I would say. For the
that's
infrastructure.
What I would say. Yeah, that's where even if they spend 200 million this year, if Arteta's not getting it right by October, November, then we have to look for actually you need to move and replace because you've given him everything.
Arteta.
Yeah, I firmly believe in Arteta. I like the guy. I don't fault him for much. I think he's done a great job. And as I always said, he's going to leave Arsenal in a better position than he found Arsenal. However, with this investment, if they give him 200 million this window, this is now his team. I think if you look back at, I think his first 11 when he started to this 11 now, which we'll probably be starting with on like when the season starts, maybe Granit Xhaka's the only player that's in that team.
How he
apart from
survived,
that, everyone else will be a brand new. It's going to be a brand new 10. And if Tielemans comes, it might be a brand new 11 and Xhaka's on the bench. So this is now his team. So if he's not, do you know what I mean? Again, you got to look at results or who you're playing against. But if he's not in and around a good position by October, November, I think that the board don't rest on your laurels. You've got to now move again and say, actually, we've given him what he wants. We've let him get rid of all the players he wants to get rid of. We've backed him, and the results aren't correct. He's now got no one else to blame but himself because this is now his team officially. So, again, last year, I know King was saying it, he's fixed the defence. He hasn't brought attackers. So if you looked at the signings he brought in,
a great deal of midfielders as well.
Dealt with that. Whereas this year, he's dealing with that. So actually, if we're not firing, then now we've got to look at him. So that's my stance. And I hope the board don't sit on their heels, do you know what I mean, and allow it to spiral out of control again. I think we did that with Wenger. And I think what happened with Wenger is we thought it was a Wenger problem. So when Emery come in, we thought the players were good enough and a new manager would fix it. Whereas actually it proved it didn't. And then we've now replaced the players. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. But King, what about you? So you've been very, very critical of the board in the last year. How does this go about? I'm not saying you're fully, I don't believe you're fully behind them, but do you think this is a step in the right direction?
It was not even just this season. I think it's looking back on last season with the signings that we made with hindsight, seeing how they reacted after Chelsea won the Champions League and the season, everything that happened. You know, West Ham finishing above us as well as Spurs. You know, the Super League. You know, like all of that happened. Seeing how they backed Arteta, I still wish he could have been back sooner. But listen, this is what I've been saying to people I speak to, my followers or whatever. A lot of things that we do as Arsenal fans, you know, like we bring up the past, you know, like when it's like, oh, we're just going to do that again. You know, like when I believed that we would strengthen in January, Cannels was right. We didn't strengthen in January. How many Januaries have we seen where we don't strengthen? You know, like, and they are changing. There is a change. Like, you know, the wind is changing. You know, like, I think to see not just the level of investment, but the speed.
The speed.
You know, the ambition. You know, the intent. You know, pricing Barcelona out of a transfer. I never thought I would live to see the day that my team would do that, but that's what we did. You know what we would have been doing 3, 4, 5 years ago?
Counting £40 and a penny.
There's £40 and 40 million and a quid. Yeah, right. But effectively, we have ramped up the transfer fees so far, and we know that we're paying a bit over the odds for Rafinha by 10 or 15 million. But that's 10 or 15 million that Barcelona are not willing to slap on the table. We're miles smaller than Barcelona. This kind of aggression I've never seen. Like you said, yeah. If we pull this off, it could be one of the best windows. And it's not just for the player personnel. It's is actually the way we behaved in the window that I'd never seen.
Yeah.
Never. So
it's the overlapping, isn't it? Surprising. It's like the board is saying, "Oh, we're focused on Rafinha." Next thing you know, this guy's come in. Then it's like we're still putting bids in for Martinez.
I feel like to answer your question, as you were saying, like with the Kroenkes, like the verdict for me, until I see whoever our captain is at the time lifting aloft their head, a Premier League or the Champions League, always not forgotten. It never will be until that happens. Yeah, but you look at their hockey team last night. Sorry, American Sports Online. You guys know the name probably, but obviously they won the Super Bowl.
I think
the Stanley Cup. Sorry, yeah. And then obviously the Rams won the Super Bowl. Now, if you look at the trajectory of all of them, they appointed a coach looking to earn their stripes, gave them 4 years of sustained investment, and saw fruits at the end of it. Arteta is in year 2.5. He came in December 2020. Yeah. So obviously last summer and this summer, you saw the level of investment that we should be seeing. At Arsenal, if we are serious about competing again with the very best, and they've done. I can't really fault them, And as I said, as I'll always say, I'd rather be wrong about Arteta. I'd rather be wrong about Kroenke. I'd rather be wrong about Holding, Xhaka. I would rather come on this and hear everyone say "I told you so" and watch Arsenal restored to greatness than be right about these people. And the thing is as well, it's not just the investment as well. It's like when you look at Josh Kroenke, the interviews that they've been doing, how much more transparent and open they've been. Like that to me goes a longer way than just putting the money on the table. Because that to me says you value communicating to us what your vision is, and trying to bring us on board with it rather than just sitting there in the silence and expecting us to just tag along for the journey.
Take it. Pay the highest season ticket fees or second highest now, and just accept mediocrity.
I think they've kind of like gotten on board with the fact that they realize the passion and the fans. Basically, they're starting to acknowledge and learn. They've done their homework on us as a fan base. And they're starting to kind of, show that in the kind of things, especially Josh Kroenke, because it's pretty much he's the figure really head for KSE.
Definitely.
So yeah,
sorry, Candace.
No, Karen.
Yeah, so I just want to get obviously almost at an hour, so I want to get through some of the comments because again, I think it's kind of just freestyle naturally. We wasn't actually meant to be here talking about the Kroenkes, but we've come onto it because King's here and he's been very vocal. But some great comments in there. James is saying, since taking full ownership, the only thing they really did wrong is the European Super League. Apart from that, they've been outstanding. I'm fully backing them to take us to win the Prem. So James is fully on board with the Kroenkes. This is talk about Edu. Sao Paulo Academy, by the way, is a treasure trove of talent. Very excited for the next few seasons if we can get their starlets. Jason saying the Brazilian links make sense. They're all looking for World Cup time. To have 4 players in one squad makes sense for Rafinha to join. It increases chances of them getting picked because of chemistry. Yeah, so that could go a long way if they know he plays well with Jesus and Martinelli for club.
All I'm going to say is, I've got a little kind of what's it? A goose that lays golden eggs. Okay, he told me before it come out about Vieira. He told me, and I told you lot a week and a half ago about Jesus.
Yeah. Can he be 3 out of 3? That's the question.
That's my thing. He's told me about Rafinha. So let's see. Let's see.
Jason said KSE didn't own the club at the time. So I think this is talking a few years back when money wasn't really being spent. Money spent was between the boards. Since they have taken full charge, it appears they have had a clearer plan, something we lacked before. And I think you are starting to see that plan where we was losing our heads about letting people leave on a free. Again, all that was to bring the wage bill down. And again, we don't know how the forecasts are done within football, do we? Like, we look at it as one season upon one season. It might be like a 3-year thing. That'll be the 3-year plan they have to or budget they have to go by. So we might have seen that come to an end. And this year, we look a lot healthier. Hence why we were able to throw 200 million at transfers. Jason saying, I may have been wrong, given we are learning more and more about the struggles behind the closed doors. Yeah, things we don't see. Do you know what I mean? Silver Fox is saying Cronkies now have no excuse, winning the Super Bowl in Feb and the Stanley Cup. Now, last night is Arsenal's turn. So yeah, hopefully they will put a bit more focus into Arsenal, and it seems like they are. Jason saying he doesn't think this is Arteta's defining season. We still have plenty of deadwood. Yes, it's his team, but it's not his squad.
That's
summer.
Interesting because if you check it, there's going to be a lot of movement of players going on loan, because obviously after the 30th of June, you'll see and hear a lot more news about players going out on loan, because obviously right now you can't, it won't happen now because nobody wants to pay for a player whilst they're not actually doing anything or, you know, doing any pre-season training with them. So as soon as pre-season training starts and everything, boom, you're going to see so much.
You got to see. What I like, we're not waiting for the outs to get the players in. We're getting the players in first, and wherever they go and transfer or loan, they will leave when they leave. But what we've done before is like we let one go, we bring one in.
Talks have been going on throughout the year.
But what you're hearing a lot of is we've been talking to this guy since January. We've been talking to this guy's representative since Feb, March. Like, they've been lining some of these guys up for a while.
And Edu as well are like that.
Yeah, definitely. Just while you're there, Jason, if you're still in the comments, let us know where you would allow Arsenal to become next year. You're saying it's not as defining season. Would you take 5th place? What would be the minimum for you Arteta can get away with and stay in his job? I think most of us here are saying he's got to get top 4 or win the Europa. Like, it's what that would just
wait a minute. Okay, so question then for you guys. Sorry, I know you but
go on. We've got 4 minutes still. We're good.
Okay.
3 minutes.
Question: 5th and Europa or 4th?
I'll take it.
Which would you prefer?
I'd rather take 5th in Europa.
Who comes 4th?
Tottenham.
Nah, I don't know. I can't finish behind Spuds again. I can't.
Listen. Look. If we finish behind them and they finish trophyless, but we get a Europa,
that's all right.
We've had a better season.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
Actually, have we?
Come on, what's that?
Absolutely. European trophies trumps league position.
Yeah, when you look back in 5 years, and you see the trophy haul, we've grabbed another trophy and they haven't. No one cares where we finished that season. All they look at is we won FA Cup in this year. Do you know what I mean? Europa League in this year.
That's if we do progress.
Yeah. What about you, Steph? Where would you 4th or 5th with a trophy, or 5th with Europa League? Not just any trophy. It's got to be.
Which
Europa
would you
League.
prefer?
Oh, 5th.
We'll do Europa League with the trophy.
Do you know what? I'll take 4th. You know, I'll take 4th.
Do you know what? 4th is just a safe bet, innit?
You get 4th anyway, Connors.
Yeah, but it's that risk, innit? Like, I remember Baku, that was stress the whole time.
But I mean, if you win it, we'll talk about if you win it though. If you win it,
you know what?
You guarantee 4th.
Yeah.
No, but
if you offered me right now on the table, 5th and that Europa League trophy, sod you lot, I'm taking it.
Yeah, of course, you're gonna take it. If it's you know, if it's handed you on a plate like that, yes, I'll take it. However, I want to see us progress in that league. I want to start seeing us move up domestically, and obviously, fourth gives us that platform to kind of still be in Champions League, but then, do you know what I mean? Have that little bit more of like with the team togetherness to kind of say, you know what, we can do this. We can actually go further and further and further, and it will show progression.
Is Europa League gives you the Champions League. So if in terms of seeing that progression and then going into that window, like all we need to do is go into the next summer window with Champions League football. But Spurs have 2 Europa Leagues. They were the first team in London to win one. Yeah. And Chelsea have one. We can't keep having that over. They can't keep having that over us.
I hear what Candace is saying, because you could.
I would much rather put that one to bed and just be like, right, we've done that now.
But we have won a European trophy.
But we haven't won the Europa League. We've won a Cup Winners' Cup and the Interfairs Cup. The hierarchy of European trophies, they're lowly. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. Like, you know, like the Europa League is not only a current competition, but you know, obviously, it's one that 2 clubs in London have that we don't, and I don't like that. I didn't like that.
I get the
Doesn't
trophy
fit well
is the
with him.
trophy. Trophy is what's needed, but I get what Callis is trying to imply because for him, you could get a lucky run to the final, not really beat anyone on the way, grab the trophy, but people looking at him might say that's not. Again, you look at England. England have had 2 good tournaments. They didn't get into the semis and the finals, but when you look at actually what they came up against, they're now getting slapped by Hungary. And it's
Really
like,
and
well,
truly,
actually,
West Ham should have won that Europa League.
I'm loving
yeah,
it.
yeah,
West
yeah.
Ham should have won that Europa.
You know what I mean? So, but again, progress might be 5th place, but if we got more points, that's still progress. Do you know what I mean? It's again, when we look at our points tally this year, the points tally we got this year that's gone, they would have got us 3rd place the year before. So that is progress. It's just unfortunately other teams progressed as well and got better points. So we end up
Progress
5th place.
better. So that's what I'm saying.
So
We need to get over that little hump.
that little hump. I think that again, sometimes it's momentum. It's sometimes in your brain, isn't it? That 4th place now is just that step away from us. If we grab that now, it's actually we've done it. It's like sprinters when they get under 12 seconds or under 11 seconds, they probably start hitting that on a regular because now that mental barrier is broken. Do you know what I mean? And Spurs are going through that now with a trophy, aren't they? Like they can't go over that mental barrier of winning a trophy. So
Chelsea are closing that gap with trophies. I think
I'm not really fussed about that stuff.
The eye on the bigger price is keeping that gap wide.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Especially
Right,
with
let's get to some
silverware, man.
comments. Let's get to some comments before we go. One touch to say Jays is a madman, but as I said, I'm over attacking the owners. There's never ever comes from it, apart from if you're Benfica. It's obviously say this is the moment of truth for Arteta. Don't care what we end up with. He has got to get top 4 next season or win Europa. So yeah, either or. His Champions League football has got to come back to the Emirates. Jason said I would say 5th in Europa final. Champions League is the goal, but I had to remember injuries, etc. If we hadn't had the injuries end of last season, we'd finish 4th. But comments are text limited. I hear what he's saying, but this is where now Arteta has to get the squad in place to enable us to deal with them injuries. Like he's got to learn from mistakes. We all said he should have strengthened in Jan, and that centre midfielder might have been a difference for us getting over the line or bringing in a left back at the time. Jason, he agrees with Ghana. Sorry, I was waiting for it to load. They keep saying it's a cup that don't exist. Silver Fox is with Ghana King as well. Brenners, this is a lot of comments. Try to catch up. Fairs Cup, UEFA Cup, Europa League. It's all the same cup. Yeah, it's just changed its name a few times.
No, the Fairs Cup. The Fairs Cup.
Was like that was a bit different. But it was different before, was it? Because it was a Cup Winners' Cup and stuff, wasn't it? Where you had to win a trophy to get into that cup. Whereas then they created that 6th and 7th place trophy. So
yeah, the Fairs Cup was not what it was not the derivative of UEFA Cup. No.
Right. Okay. And Hamza Pato is saying we've just cleared our debt with our stadium, so Kroenke is more serious than ever, knowing full well he's got a lot of more to offer this season. I'm not too sure where we're at with the stadium, so I'm hoping you're correct. With that, the stadium debt's completely cleared.
It's not completely cleared, but we brought it down.
I think it was it's been refinanced, but I mean, it's something in the sense that it's negligible.
Right. Okay. So it sounds like we're in a better position.
100%.
Going forward, who knows? But I think the board mean business this year. Arteta and Edu seem like they mean business this year. Let's hope Arsenal players now deliver on the pitch this year. But guys, we could go on all night because this is lively. I ain't gonna lie, my missus is upstairs wanting me, but she might have to wait another half an hour. But yeah,
it's saying she wants you upstairs.
She might jump in the comments and tell me get upstairs, guy. Boy, but boys, it's been a pleasure. I've missed all of you so much.
Yeah, man.
Guys, if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, share, keep commenting. I will be back in the chat a bit later to comment if anyone has any. If you're watching later on and want to throw your comments in, you will hear from me. I think there's another show tomorrow. I think our guy James is taking it away, talking about the attacking players we're looking to sign. There'll be some more shows throughout the week. We're going to be here every day chopping it up. So
yeah, every day. Please, Jason, everyone, smash the likes. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed.
I'm getting sent to the doghouse, Jason. I'll be real. I'll be in the doghouse, but at least I can use my phone from the doghouse, so it's all good. It's all good.
Everyone's there.
Yeah, guys, it's been a pleasure. People in the
Wow.
chats, it's been amazing. Thank you so much. It means a lot for us when you're commenting because it makes the show so much more interactive and better for us as well. Big Steph, pleasure as always. Got a
Yeah,
king,
man.
love ya.
Yes.
And Canners, I'm sure I'll be seeing you in a week. Wait. Before we go, actually, we've got to plug it in it. Gunslingers on Thursday, 1 year anniversary. Is that correct, Canners?
Absolutely, man. Flipping it. So listen, guys, we've been going for a year now, and it's getting bigger and bigger. Love to all the content providers on here and everything. People support, and it's nothing without you guys who are watching us and the views. So all I can say is, massive thank you to everybody that we've been going for this long, because everybody's chipped in. And as I said, it's the viewers, man. It's you guys who are keeping us going, man. We can talk, but it's you guys who are listening and commenting and everything. So it's because of you guys. So but yeah, as I say, Gumsa, King, Football Messiah, the guys like Niger, James, Mr. Silver Fox. There's so much going on behind the scenes that gets done by certain guys, and you know who you are. But yeah, listen, I've probably missed out names, but forgive me if I have. But all I can say is that it's just been massive. It's just one big happy family here, and we're going from strength to strength.
Yeah, man.
On that, yeah. So on that note, you wrapped up beautifully, guys. For tonight, we're out of here, but
Yes.
we will be back tomorrow. James will have his show. And I'm not sure you're gonna see me next. Hopefully, well, definitely Thursday you'll see me. But on that note, guys, it's all love.
Bless.
Bless.